MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, is that not the truth or what? It does not matter who the host is. Today is Thursday. Yes, Thursday, January the 13th. Of 2022, day 13th of the year. Go figure. I mean, I think it took a mathematician to figure that one out. Anyways, there's 352 days remaining before we get to the end of this bad boy. So I think that that's going to be important. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, as we are coming to you from our lovely, lovely location here, doing the things that we do. So hopefully you are off to a grand start today and getting everything moving and grooving and all that kind of fun stuff. And of course, we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at. So let's talk about them.
Radio Big.
Oh yes, hanging out with our friends at RadioBig.fm as they are letting us, interfere on their lovely airwaves. If they don't allow us to do so, what are we going to do there? Anyways, a lot of stuff going on this morning as we are talking, moving and grooving. Now, I have to tell you, I was amazed yesterday. I was amazed on hearing some people come back and come out of the woodwork and start talking and going, what you showed yesterday, first thing in the morning, was very political. And then, of course, depending on what side of the aisle the person was that was writing, they stated that I was either being political in X, whichever was their counterpart, or I was being political in Z, so whichever one they did not coincide with. So I don't know. I think that yesterday, the Ron Paul and Dr. Fauci thing that I played, you had the opportunity of choosing on how you viewed it. That's why I didn't really say much when it was all said and done. And that's why the other side of the equation too is that I don't like playing with those things because, people get up in arms that they think that you're leaning one way or the other. I wasn't leaning towards anything. I just wanted to share with you on what was going on because that was making the move and the groove of things going on out there. If it was something else, I probably wouldn't have talked about it, but This is just making up for all the time of the swamp that we don't hang out. And that's how kind of it goes from time to time, just for the sake of talking about it. Anyways, let's get out of that real quick, because that's not going to be important. We're here to hang out, talk about some things, do some fun stuff, and of course, go on whatever the hell we're going to talk about next, because I think that that's always going to be important. Anyway, so taking it from the very top of the equation, let's talk about what was trending yesterday. Roast Me was trending yesterday as Wendy's Twitter account took part of the National Roast Day by roasting people at their request. Also, hashtag things I want to know less about landed on Twitter's top 10 yesterday. Tweets included the Kardashian, billionaire space jaunts, the things that you hate, how flat the earth is, and Prince Andrew. Marvel fans were tweeting out excitement over Eternals landing on Disney Plus yesterday. Also, hashtag Saga Awards. Or SAG Awards, not Saga Awards. SAG Awards was trending as nominations were announced. More on that later on. Ronald McDonald House was trending on Wednesday after they announced that they find alternative accommodations for children and families that refuse to comply with COVID-19 vaccine mandates in Canada. So there you go. Anyways, on some other side of the news, real quick, Dallas City reporter Everton Bailey Jr. tweeted a video of a man rapping about COVID-19 at Wednesday's Dallas City Council meeting. Follow-up tweets identified him as Alex Stein, a frequent Dallas City Council open mic speaker and a one-time reality show villain. So let's do this and see how much trouble we'll get into by doing so. Let's see if we...
Don't vaccinate. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. You gotta vaccinate in the Lone Star State. Vaccination is so great. Vaccinate me all day long. Vaccinate your daddy and mom. Vaccinate my body. Vaccinate me at the party. A vaccine dream. I love the vaccine all day long. I want to vaccinate your mom. I want to stick it deep in your arm. Oh ma, where are you? I want to vaccinate you, but you can't hear my song. Vaccinate me in my thong. Vaccination, right or wrong. Dr. Fauci, give me that ouchie. I want it in my body. Vaccinate me to go to the party. Omar is back. Vaccinate me, white or black. Vaccinate you. Vaccinate who? Vaccinate you all day long. Vaccinate your dad and mom. Vaccinate me in my thong. Vaccinate the mayor. I am a vaccination player. What can I say? I'm the real round sayer. Prime time, 99 on the ground all the time. I blow your mind. I spit the rhyme. I commit the crime. I'm always on time because I'm 99. Alex, and I grind and shine and I blow your mind. One more time. Vaccinate your mind. Vaccinate your body. Vaccinate your life in your vaccination party. I love y'all. Peace. God bless. Follow my Instagram. IG.
Your time is up.
Primetime Stein.
Thank you.
Okay, so there you go. I guess the next time you go to a Dallas City Council meeting, you'll be in for a surprise. So there you go. That's the open mic morning speakers that was going on there. Seen during the Dallas County City Council meeting, a rap during the mic and getting vaccinated. Here's part of it. So there you go. There was 90 seconds of the show that we're never going to manage to get back. So think about it in that particular fashion. Anyways, let's get to our friends at Feature Story News because I think they have some things to talk about. And I would love to hear you complain today. So if you're wanting to do so, you're more than welcome to hanging out inside of the chat box. And we will also be available on callinradio.com. So there you go. Let's get moving right away.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Ishan Garg. Britain and India are set to formally launch free trade agreement talks in New Delhi on Thursday. The two sides are hoping to boost bilateral trade by billions of pounds as they seek freer movement of goods and people. Rebecca Bundan reports from Mumbai.
Britain is focused on growing trade with India as part of its post-Brexit strategy. UK Secretary of State for International Trade Anne-Marie Trevelyan and India's Trade Minister Piyush Goyal will meet in New Delhi on Thursday, and the first round of negotiations as the countries work towards a free trade agreement are expected to begin next week. Britain says that the deal could nearly double its exports to India and that total trade could reach more than $38 billion by 2035. The UK is eyeing India's growing middle class for its products products and is hoping to push opportunities for its green technology industry, while New Delhi is seeking to ease the rules for Indians to live and work in Britain. Rebecca Bundan, Mumbai.
US President Joe Biden's approval rating has dropped to just 33% according to a new opinion poll. 53% of respondents in the left-leaning Quinnipiac University poll disapproved of his performance. Kate Fisher reports from Washington.
While this poll is an outlier, it's dismal news for Joe Biden. His approval rating among independents is at 24%, and with Hispanics, it's at 28%. In November, 87% of Democrats approved of Mr. Biden. Today, it's 75%. On the economy, 34% approve and 57% disapprove of his performance. On foreign policy, it's 35-54, and on COVID, it's 39-55. The poll also revealed that political instability and not US adversaries are seen as the biggest threat to the country, with nearly 6 in 10 people thinking the nation's democracy is in danger of collapse.
Calls are growing for the resignation of British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and some of them are coming from within his own party. The Prime Minister on Wednesday acknowledged that he did attend a party in the garden of number 10 Downing Street that appears to have breached lockdown regulations being observed by the rest of the country at the time. In Parliament, he apologised and said that with hindsight, he should have left the event. Even the Prime Minister's defenders, like the leader of the House of Commons, Jacob Rees-Mogg, now concede their man is in difficulty.
This is obviously serious. Otherwise, the Prime Minister wouldn't have made the statement that he made today and the apology that he gave, and recognising the anger that there is with people whose family members died. So politics is not about life being easy for Prime Ministers, and it would be hard to argue that this is an easy day.
With more, our London correspondent, Ollie Barrett.
For a lot of MPs, this has been a cumulative process, and many of them are running out of patience.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. What are the options for Britain's Prince Andrew now that a judge in New York has denied his effort to get the civil lawsuit against him dismissed? In that lawsuit, Virginia Giuffre accuses the Duke of York of sexually abusing her when she was 17, after she was introduced to him by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. The next step in the process is called discovery. It gives her lawyers a chance to depose the prince, an interview that could eventually be made public. Royal commentator Peter Hunt says the Duke may seek to head that eventuality off.
There will be an attempt, it's been suggested by Andrew's side, to keep all his testimony secret to address that very issue of whether or not the words of a senior member of the British royal family was to be in court papers that are available to us all. So they may well attempt that. You know, remember, this is a Prince Andrew who in that BBC Newsnight interview talked about Epstein's actions being unbecoming and talking about his relationship with Epstein having seriously beneficial outcomes. And so in terms of the options that faces Andrew, his first one is still to try and get it stopped in its tracks. He could refuse to engage. That is potentially foolish for him because it could increase a default judgment. He could go ahead, as you suggest, and it's a very unattractive, but it is the sort of the least unattractive option for him, is still remains an out-of-court settlement.
But Virginia Giuffre is indicating no willingness to negotiate a settlement, saying on Wednesday through her lawyers the evidence must be heard in court. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
FSN is an independent source of news for TV, radio and digital networks worldwide. You can find more of our minute-by-minute updates on Twitter. Follow us there at Feature Story. And we have a wealth of audio and video stories from our global news bureaus on Facebook. You can find us there by following Feature Story News. Stay tuned for further updates right here. But for now, that is the latest Feature Story News. Ishan Garg reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go. Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What? Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No. Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this. To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster and for free. I have to tell you, even before they ever became a sponsor here on Safety FM, we have used LinkedIn Jobs to help find the people that we have here on Safety FM. It's an easy service to use. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified candidates. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the beloved herring maven.
What kind of herring could you serve children? Well, we hear that question with our ears everywhere we go. After all, children are very much like real people, only not so old. So they can eat all the things real people eat. They can eat all kinds of Vita herring when they wake up, when they come home from school, or when they are eating meals. They can eat Vita cocktail herring fillets, Vita fillets and wine sauce, Vita schmaltz and Bismarck herring, or even a Vita Greek herring salad. But don't tell them it's a salad. Children hate salads, and with good cause. But mostly, children love Vita creamed herring fillets. You see, fish is a brain food. If you give your little one some Vita herring every day, when he grows up, he'll probably be an adult or some other kind of tall person. The important thing to remember is what a swell child psychologist once told me about Vita herring.
The beloved herring maven is presented irregularly by VitaFood products. People eat 'em up, and you will too.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, you are listening to something magical. Wow. How did that happen? Anyways, you're listening to something magical as we are 19 minutes past the top of the hour doing the things that we do. So let's get moving, grooving, talking, banging. Anyways, it is Thursday, as you already fully are aware. So where do we go from here? What have you done so far this week? What have you done in the last 13 days that has gotten you excited about this year, that you know that this is going to be the year of change? I don't know. I'm asking you. I'm not asking myself. If I knew the answer, then I wouldn't be asking the question. That's for sure. Anyway, so let's start talking about some things that are going on inside of the world real quick. As you might have heard yesterday, The U.S. Mint has announced that it has begun shipping out the first quarters featuring trailblazing American women, beginning with poet, writer, and activist Maya Angelou, the first black woman to appear on the quarter, part of the American Women Quarters program. The Angelou coin is one of 4 scheduled to be released between now and 2025. The women, or the other women who will be featured, will be Mankel. There'll be the Cherokee Nation's first female principal chief, and Anna May Wong, the first Chinese-American Hollywood film star. So there you go. And then also Adelina Otero Warren, a leader in New Mexico suffrage movement. And then let's see. And that's all I got. Oh, and Sally Ride, before I forget. Sally Ride, the first American woman in space. So there you go. Some things to look into from now to 2025. Also, the infamous home of the original Nightmare on Elm Street has a new owner, someone who has dropped $3 million for the privilege of tossing and turning all night. Aside of being a great location for Halloween parties, the 3-bedroom, 4.5-bath LA home has some impressive features like walnut floor, spacious backyard, patio, and a pool, and a bed of the devious your hole. So there you go. If you remember the movie, despite the place in Hollywood, the horror history, the home screams peaceful suburban bliss, and it was originally listed for around $3.25 million, and that was around Halloween time. Boy, do things change quickly, Supply and demand, my love. Supply and demand. Anyways, I'm going to supply you. You're going to demand, or you demanded I'm going to supply, something along those lines. I got Johnny Smalls coming your way with the Market Beat Minute.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Thursday, January 13th, 2022. Equities moved higher on Wednesday despite a hot reading of the CPI. The CPI came in at 0.5% for the month, or up 1/10 hotter than expected, with similar strength at the core of the year-over-year levels. The takeaway is that inflation continues to rise and is leaving the FOMC no choice but to raise rates. Based on Jerome Powell's testimony to Congress, it looks like the Fed will be raising rates at a much quicker pace than ever indicated. According to the CME's FedWatch tool, a rate hike is all but assured at the March FOMC meeting. Today's action will be driven by the PPI. The producer price index is expected to subside from the previous month, but could easily come in hotter than expected. Even so, with CPI already at record levels, a cool read on the PPI will do little to alter the outlook. The question is, how will the market react? You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one and what is going on inside of the market, because we need to know. We definitely need to know. There is no doubt about that. Anyways, let's get moving and grooving, talking about some other things that are going out there inside of the world. The book of books, when it comes to what makes you happy in one form of media, like reading and listening to music, is anything better than another? I don't know. Like they say, playing video games. Not really. According to a team of researchers and a study of the scientists at the UK and Austria, tracked media use by nearly 2,200 Brits for over 2 months. Not people named Brittany, just in case. What they found was that the number is how much more time people spent with their nose in a book versus using technology such as TVs, movies, or video games. Both reading and the use of tech have roughly the same impact on a person's sense of well-being. Study leaders Nicholas Johannes from the University of Oxford said that although many of us believe that traditional media like books or music are good for us, surprisingly, we don't really have good evidence whether that's the case. In fact, this belief that newer media are harmful but traditional media are beneficial can be elitist. Then took off her glasses and lab coat and fired up a bong and went back to the play of Mortal Kombat.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, I'm pretty sure there's no truth to the last statement that I made, but okay, now parents, which makes them happier? Their kids spending 6 hours reading or 6 hours playing GTA? That's Grand Theft Auto, just in case if you don't know. But okay, what if I read a book online? Does that make me double kind of happy? I don't know, something to think about. So here's the gig. I always constantly talk about reading books. And I constantly talk about things that are going on inside of the world and things that you should be doing. I have to tell you, I'm a big book listener, so I will listen to books like they're going out of style. I normally recommend to people, if you could do one book a month, you're probably getting something good out of it. I don't know if I should kind of do the relay thing here, but I have the perfect opportunity on doing so. You know, there's always good books that are out there, but you should always be looking for good books that are on the verge of coming out. And, you know, you just need to be on the lookout. That's all I have to say. You never know what might be coming your way, because there's always a good chance of getting something that you might have not expected, and then all of a sudden it shows up. Just kind of the way that it works. And believe me, we're not talking about the books that we do here, because, you know, those books are very, very, very small. That's why we call them ebooks, and they're included with Safety FM Plus. Pretty simple. I don't want you to go out there and buy anything more addition to of anything that we already have going on. As I told you from the very, very beginning, when it came to Safety FM Plus, minimal cost in regards to getting some information out there for you. Anyways, let's continue talking Omicron and on. Even though the Omicron-specific COVID vaccine is expected to be ready by March, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the leading infectious disease expert in the U.S., said that its highly transmissible variant will likely find just about everybody. Another expert agrees, saying that the updated vaccine may not matter because everybody's going to get infected. Dr. Sean Truelove, an infectious disease epidemiologist at St. John's, at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Wow, where did the Saint come in from? Says the Omicron variant spread so quickly that the vaccine developers couldn't make a targeted vaccine in time. And now it is not clear whether if one is needed or should ever be used. Truelove says that we also don't know how long the Omicron induce immunity will last, but Omicron-specific booster could provide substantial benefit if immunity wanes, even potential against future variants. Ever notice that even the so-called experts who work with the CDC and the WHO 90% of the time say that their answer, the question is, we don't know? I mean, think about it. And I guess working on a vaccine for the next variant isn't an option, just asking. So just something to think about. But here's the thing. And here's I think, one of the biggest problems. And we can go into, science and all that kind of fun stuff. But it's when it comes to models, and I'm not talking about the ones that wear outfits and walk down a runway. I'm talking about when you are doing modeling for when you're actually doing research. You only go based off the information that you have. You can't produce data that you don't have. You go, here is what my theory is. This is the model that we're going to use. And then we kind of go from there and say, okay, is this going to work or not? Where people get all hung up all the time about is they go, oh, well, you said that this was going to work in your model, and now all of a sudden it's not. Well, no, duh, because it's not supposed to work. It's a model. Models change. You go based on the data that you have, and you change it as you are moving forward. If you don't do it in that fashion, how are you supposed to do a model? Then it's not a model. Then you're just saying, hey, this is the research that I got. So I don't know. It becomes very difficult from time to time. People don't want to hear that stuff. I know it sucks. But also at the same time, too, it's the reality of the situation. Model is for modeling. You take the information off the model, and then you move forward. Anyway, let's continue talking. Spice advice. Yes, fast food chains these days have spicy sandwiches, but Arby's new Diablo Dare is so hot that it's including something to put out the fire. Through February the 6th, Arby's is selling what is called the spiciest sandwich on the market. Diablo Dare costs $5.99 and includes, you ready for this, a 12-ounce vanilla milkshake for free. The sandwich has 5 sources of spice, including layers of ghost pepper, jack cheese, fiery hot seasoning, fire-roasted jalapenos, and a special barbecue sauce, and it's placed between red chipotle bun. Customers can choose crispy chicken patty or smoked brisket for their protein. So, as if you're going to taste it, can I get the hot sauce with that? Because that's something to think about. If they are including a vanilla milkshake inside of that, they want to make sure that you put that fire out before it is all said and done. So think about that real quick. You could, when it comes to spicy food, it's not always necessary the importance of the way in. It's normally the necessary and how important it is on the way out.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's do this. It is 30 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging on this lovely Thursday. It seems like for some reason this week has went by relatively quickly, which, I mean, that's not a problem. But man, oh man. It seems from time to time, us in the world seem to have issues with things that are going on. We have issues with things that are happening about around and about and all that. And sometimes we tend to forget to share our grievances on the things that are going on. We forget to share what we do and do not like and what we don't like. Well, maybe not so much what we don't like, but we tend to forget to share some information with people that will be able to do something for change. And I look at this all the time and I go, hey, you know, if you're working inside of an organization and you're able to talk to people that are decision makers, you're able to talk to people about what is going on inside of the org, why don't you do so? They're the ones that can hear your grievances. They're the ones that can actually take a listen to what is happening and make a level of change, opposed to just complaining about it. Now, I will tell you, here's the fun part. I get to talk to all kinds of people from different walks of life all the time. Not every once in a while, I mean all the time. On a daily basis, I'm getting to talk to somebody who I haven't met before or that works for some organization that I should probably not be in a phone call with, but it just happens that way. And a few days ago, I was talking to a small group of people. It was roughly about 10 on a we'll say a video chat. And it was amazing to take a listen to what one of the people had to say, and it went just like this. When we have an issue in our organization, we go to our lunchroom. Now, there was a pause when that was mentioned because that was kind of a weird one. What do you mean you go to your lunchroom when you have a problem? Why the hell would you go there? And here's what the gentleman had to say. The reason we go to our lunchroom is because we know that our problem solvers will be there at some point. I can ask the team members that are inside of there, what is the solution to the problem? So it was amazing to me that this leader inside of this organization was so forward-thinking, because this is very uncommon, that they already knew that the problems that they have inside of the organization can be solved by the people that are already there. Now think about that real quick. Think about the organizations that you have worked for throughout the years. And let me know if you think that they have been that kind of forward thinkers. If no, that's okay, but we can still talk about this. But it's amazing when you take a look at the overall picture and you take a look at everything that is going on how a lot of organizations don't think that way. Now, you did hear me at the very beginning say, go and talk to the people that can make the change inside of the organization, which normally comes from the leadership. Because at the end of the day, they'll be the big decision makers, but they have to know that you have the knowledge base inside of there to be able to incorporate those changes. And I don't believe, and yes, this is a belief thing, that the person that I was speaking with would have known that information if someone hadn't come up to him at some point throughout his career and said, hey, listen, we're able to make these changes because we're probably going to have the most level of experience when it comes to things that need to be done inside of the organization. Now, think about that. Now, does that come across as arrogant or potentially pompous? Absolutely. But here's the thing. if you go through life and you just do the roboto move and you keep on moving back and forth and always just listening and never letting the organization know what you can do, how will they know they can depend on you besides just doing monotonous work day in and day out? Listen, I'll tell you this. I'd rather sit around and hang out with a whole bunch of people that will challenge my thought process opposed to actually just agreeing with what I have to say. Some people don't like that. Oh, it doesn't make it a good work environment. It's not about not being a good work environment. But here's the thing. You always have to be able to think forward. Not every idea is a great idea. Sorry, but it is an idea. It's a good place to start. And I've noticed that when I have done work throughout the years, that having other people involved will give a viewpoint of possibly something I've never thought about, and vice versa. Because think about when you put your heads together on how sometimes those ideas become better idea. We can almost even go as far as saying super ideas, if you want to get that far. But they become something entirely different than what most people expect. Listen, I know that no person's an island, because then you wouldn't be a person, you'd be an island, but that's a whole other story. But think about that. Think about how things change when you do stuff in a group setting, and if you inform your leadership on what you're able to do, what the group is able to do, how that organization can move forward. It's just simple processes about building synergy. Yeah, we'll go into an older word. Synergy inside of the organization. Think about how things have changed. If you've been in the workforce for a period of time, things have changed significantly. Yes, there's some still older organizations that run like they're a 90-year-old company. And you can be a 90-year-old company, but still have a new skin around you. You can do still changes and still be that giant thing that you were before. But the thing is that if you don't take in the new blood, times might actually go far apart. And by the time you're trying to catch up, you didn't realize that the people that were going to change everything for you were inside of your lunchroom. But what do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back. Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You know how sometimes in life you have those moments of shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know what I'm talking about. It happens all the time to people. So let's talk about that very sensitive subject of male pattern baldness. Don't go through that moment where you're going, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let's talk about my friends at Keeps. 2 out of 3 men experience some form of hair loss by the time they are 35, with more than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. You don't have to be one of them. Think about this. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss, and my friends at Keeps offer both. Keeps offers simple, stress-free way for you to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor's consultations and medication delivered straight to your door. I mean, I have to tell you, just for the whole sake of not having to leave your house to have the consultation, that should sell itself. But the low-cost treatments start just as low as $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions. Discreet packaging and proven results. Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. I want you to think about that. People love the product. Prevention is key. Treatment can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so act fast. All you have to do to take action to prevent hair loss is to go to keeps.com. That's KEEPS.com/safety. to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com, KEEPS.com/safety to get your first month free. That's KEEPS.com/safety. Remember, not everybody has such a beautiful head as mine. So don't be saying coulda, shoulda, woulda. Act on Keeps right now. This is Be Strong by Nightcap. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. And so let's see. Want to thank Be Strong for allowing us to play this one. Música is very importante here on the Rated R Safety Show. And you know how I feel about this techno stuff. I love it. I want some more of it, like always. Okay, let's bring that down a little bit. Let's get back to what we're doing. 43 minutes past the top of the hour. You and I are hanging and banging and doing what we do because it's important to do so. So let's get moving. Let's talk about did you know, according to a new survey, most men are not exactly thrilled with their appearance. On average, 1,000 men in the U.S. and the U.K. rated their attractiveness as just 5.9 on a scale of 1 to 10. How do you get to 0.9 if they tell you 1 to 10? So I'm 6.27889. I mean, how do you do that? So out of 1 to 10, overall 41.9% said that they're happy with the way they look, and 37% of the respondents rated themselves below the 5.9 average. I don't know. Do you stand inside or in front of the mirror all the time and say how happy you are with your looks? Is that like something that people do? I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking the question because I always want to have a better understanding. Like, do you sit around and do that? Like, hey, I think I look mighty well today. It's something that I should tell myself. I mean, I don't know. Just something to think about as we are talking about it. So a lot of stuff going on always inside of the news because we talk about this. No winner for Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing. Friday's drawing will be for $325 million jackpot or a $224.1 million cash payout. So there you go. So investigators believe that Bob Saget passed away in his sleep. Sources close to the investigation told TMZ that Saget was tucked in bed when his body was discovered on Sunday afternoon. As previously reported, an official cause of death will not be known for more weeks, which I think we already knew. A new mural for Betty White has been erected on the Los Angeles famed Melrose Avenue. The mural featured a photo of the late actress along with the saying, "Be more like Betty." The artist also added QR code, which fans can scan to donate directly to Wagmore Pets, an organization supporting dog rescue. So there you go. What else do we got? Snoop Dogg is launching his own line of hot dogs called Snoop Dogs. The 50-year-old applied for the federal trademark of the name last year, saying that he plans to use it to sell hot dogs, various types of sausages, and products. So there you go. Some things to think about if you are so inclined to follow Snoop Dogg's hot dog. So there you go. Some things to think about.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. That's what's going on that side. I think it's time to bring in some more John Smalls and let him tell you what's going on with some Motivation Minutes.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Tracy. Roger Williams said, "The greatest crime in the world is not developing your potential. When you do what you do best, you are helping not only yourself, but the world." I love this quote. I once spoke with a man who found a journal that was left behind by his father. His dad was a big tough guy. He didn't even know his dad kept a journal. After reading the journal, the son cried his eyes out. He said he not only never knew his father was a writer, but he said he never knew his father. He believes his dad could have been an extremely successful author, but sadly, his dad never let the world in on his little secret. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by alasamorgan.com. Do you believe in diets? Diets have been a permanent staple for health goals, but most diets are associated with restrictions. Those restrictions very often result in lack of sustainability and unhealthy responses that are not conducive to change, such as shame, guilt, and binge eating. An alternative to this approach is intuitive eating. This style of eating emphasizes healthy attitude towards food and body image. Rather than imposing restrictions, it focuses on building a different foundation from which choices are made. A review of 24 studies published in 2016 showed that intuitive eating was associated with greater body appreciation and satisfaction, along with a greater motivation to exercise. So if you've been through a negative experience with diets and you're looking for new ways to approach your wellness, intuitive eating could be a potential solution. For additional resources, check out alasamorgan.com.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Let's make sure that we don't self-implode on the airwaves. 48 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging right here doing the stuff that we get to do together. Anyways, let me tell you the most important thing that I will tell you throughout the whole show. That is no doubt whatsoever. And let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go 1-800-273-8255. That's call 1-800-273-8255 or text the word TALK to 741-741. Or you can go to their website at afsp.org. That's afsp.org. I'm going to tell you, there's all kinds of stuff on that website. There's real stories, get help, make a difference, join the local chapter, learn the facts. You're able to donate. I mean, I'm telling you, there's a plethora of information readily available for you right there. And you never know when you might need it. That's the other fun part about the whole thing as we are talking. Anyway, so just some things to think about as we are doing that stuff there. Listen. You never know how this is going to impact someone, so it's always important to talk about it. Anyways, let's move forward a little bit and talk about some whack facts before we move on to the next thing we have going on. The ancient Romans dropped a piece of toast into their wine for good health. That's why we now raise a toast. The international dialing code for Russia is 007. That's interesting. I didn't know that. The heart of shrimp is located in its head. In 2003, a 2,300-year-old mummy with a mohawk was discovered in Ireland. Because of its shape, the first electric guitar was called a frying pan. Pans are responsible for twice as many accidents as chainsaws. Did you hear that? Pants are responsible for twice as many accidents as chainsaws. What kind of accidents are we talking about here? I don't know, just something to think about. Anyways, 1227, quite interesting facts. Blow your socks off. Bathroom Reader Institute was the one that provided that information. So there you go. Just some stuff to think about as we are talking. Anyways, it talks about some scoops of BS real quick. About 25% of adults admit that they have used a coupon on a first date. Not me. It's not worth the judgmental looks I get everyone else when I take everyone else to Chuck E. Cheese on a first date. Scientists claims that California could be underwater within a year due to the rising sea levels, while Pacific Ocean gone from beloved Los Angeles treasure to a horrifying entity, like a nature's version of Mel Gibson. Fitness training is now one of the fastest growing occupations, mostly due to the fact that it's possible to charge $100 an hour to say, hey, keep that back straight, while relentlessly hitting chicks in yoga pants. A woman in Santa Fe once stabbed her boyfriend repeatedly after she caught him cheating at Monopoly. In other words, we had bad Monopoly and even worse monogamy. So there you go. Sexperts say that having relations after a heart attack could boost your chances of survival. If not, you could come out and get at the same time. Do you get it? You could come and go out at the same time. Just think about that.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Hey, I don't say these things. I'm just telling you what happens. Anyways, let's talk about this real quick because some people like to talk about it, so I will. The Dallas Cowboys dominated TV ratings for the 2021 regular NFL season. According to the league, the team raked in about 17.1 million viewers per game with a total of 370 billion. Yes, I did say billion with a B, minutes across the season. Of 10 most watched games, Dallas played in the top 2 and 5 of the top 10. The Green Bay Packers appeared in 3 of the top 10 games, while Kansas City and Tampa Bay each played in 2. So some things to think about if you are a watcher of le football. Okay, so let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. I'm going to give you 3 real quick. Back in 2008, the Hollywood writers' strike shuts down the Golden Globe Awards. Organizers of the event figured that no one would show up in solidarity with the writers. Instead of a big TV award show, there was a quiet presentation held at Beverly Hills Hilton. NBC was set to air it and ended up losing between $10 to $15 million in ad revenue. Back in 2020, Queen Elizabeth II issued a statement saying that she supports Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wish to leave to live a more independent life. Her Majesty reluctantly spoke on the matter as the newlywed couple made plans to move to the States. So there you go. Back in 2021, the world's oldest known cave painting of animals is discovered in Indonesia. The painting was a life-size portrait of a wild pig. So there you go. That happened back in 2021. Currently 53 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Tyler Henry turns 26. Natalia Dyer from Stranger Things turns 27. Liam Hemsworth turns 32. Baal Murchov turns 33. Jill Wagner, 43. Orlando Bloom, 45. Nicole Eggert, it says from Baywatch, but can't we just say it's Charles in Charge, turns 50 today. Shonda Rhimes turns 52. Patrick Dempsey turns 56. Trace Atkins, 60. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus turned 61 today. So there you go. There are some birthdays that are going on. If you are looking for some reasons to celebrate, I can bring you some of those as well. Korean American Day is today. National Peach Melba Day. National Rubber Ducky Day. Really? National Rubber Ducky? Okay, so there you go. Stephen Foster Memorial Day. National Sticker Day. International Skeptics Day. And Make Your Dream Come True Day. So all a great combination of things that you can take a look at if you're so inclined to do so. All the things that you can do today without you even knowing ahead of time that you had the possibility of doing it. Isn't that crazy on how some of this stuff works out from time to time? Anyways, let's talk, because that's what we seem to do around here all the time. I found this, but I don't know if this is something that you care about, but we can talk about it real quick because we're still here. We're still hanging. But I found this morning and I was like, it's an interesting one, but maybe it's just interesting to me, but I'll share this with you. After 3 straight years without a formal host, the Oscars and the Academy Awards of Motion Picture Arts and Scientists will bring back an MC for Hollywood's biggest night. ABC and Hulu's chief Craig Erwich has announced that there will be a host this year. Though he stopped short of saying who it will be, the Oscar telecast has been host-free since 2019 when Kevin Hart was scheduled for the job but stepped down after old tweets and comments that were considered homophobic resurfaced. The Academy Awards are scheduled for March the 27th. So yesterday, if you hung out with us, we did speak lightly that there was a possibility that Tom Holland could be actually the person that would be hosting the Oscars. It'll still be meant to be seen what will end up taking act there, if it ends up happening or not. Just some things to think about for sure. Okay, so should we talk about some of these boldest proposals for 2022 and beyond? I can do this if you would like. Floating mobile houses. Sony dreamed up a series of mobile homes floating on the Tokyo Bay, responding to the threat of rising sea levels. Their designers imagine that these homes for new breeds of sea nomads, self-propelled by water jets. Each would clean its own water and feature solar panels for electricity and could connect to one another to form a larger, more stable structure during storms. Yeah, that was something that came up by Sony, just in case if you were wondering about that. I'll say this one real quick, too. Airdropped emergency shelters. This is a futuristic solution for people displaced by natural disasters or conflicts. Emergency shelters that can airdropped into dangerous and hard-to-reach places, developed by Architectural Association Design Research Lab in London. It actually can be dropped via airplane, releasing up to 500 units known as gravitrons, that known as a parachute in mild air. After landing, they could auto-inflate into networks of pods designated to collect rainwater and generate energy. So there you go. Something to take a look at if you were so inclined to do so. Anyways, if you want a random joke for today, I got something for you. You can use this one. I'm so broke that last year someone stole my identity and it ruined his life. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. What is one thing that you can get in your hometown that you can't get anywhere else? A Schmaltz's sandwich, damn it. Somebody send it to me. If you need something for the water cooler, try this one. Question. According to a new survey, this is the biggest single factor in a workplace satisfaction. What is it? It's actually a window. out of all things. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on RadioBig.fm and Safety FM. If you want to hang out with me, I'll be hanging over and going to Radio Big, doing some music things. If you want to come and hang out and do some of that with me, I'd love to spend some time with you. Anyways, if I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. The world needs dreamers and the world needs doers. But above all, the world needs dreamers who do. So think about that. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Radio Big and Safety FM, and that is the listener. I know who you are. You know who I am.
Duh.
Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.